May Denha, and today we are going to make harissa. I want to share first of all the ingredients that this amazing, delicious pot entails. We are going to use about 3 pounds of beef, and you can use any type of beef that you want. I prefer the beef round. I also will use 1 oxtail, and this is a beef oxtail, of course. I am going to use about 3 cups of barley. I'm going to also include 1 tablespoon of pepper and 1 tablespoon of salt. And I'm also going to include 2 32-ounce cartons of the beef broth. It's really important that you purchase the one that has less sodium in it. Otherwise, your harissa will come out very, very salty and will kind of taste like the sea. So make sure that you get the one that has 50% less sodium in it. We are going to start preparing the harissa. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 8-inch pot and I'm going to fill half the pot with water. As soon as I do that, I'm going to take my 3 pounds of beef that I have chopped up into cubes and pour that in. And then I'm going to take the oxtail and I'm also going to take that in. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is an oxtail? Well, it's actually the end tail of a cattle. It's a beef oxtail. You can find these at Kroger. They come in packages of 2. They're pretty expensive, but they're really delicious. And it's kind of like a stock for the harissa. And the bone just really gives it that amazing flavor. So this is something that I like to add, that I learned from my Denha in-laws to add whenever I make harissa. So I'm going to pour that in the pot as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flame on and I'm going to start cooking it. I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. And what I want to do is actually I'm going to let that boil, kind of like to prepare and maybe clean the meat. You can do that, it's optional, or you don't have to, because the beef, that's going to sit within the water is just going to add more flavor. It's really going to enhance the flavor of the harissa. So I'm going to let that cook for a little bit. Probably once it starts boiling, then I can swap out the water, and then I will be ready to add more ingredients. All right, so now I've actually let the water boil for a good 30 minutes with all the meat and the oxtail inside. Now that it's boiling, I'm going to add my 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm also going to add my 1 tablespoon of pepper. Give it a little kick. I love the simplicity of this dish. It's all you need. Very few ingredients. And then I love the beef broth. Again, I'm going to choose the one that has less sodium in it. Otherwise, it becomes too salty. And I usually put 2 32-ounce cartons of this in there, because the beef barley is going to need a lot of the water, or the contents in a sense, to boil and to cook. So it's going to need a lot of the liquid to boil. So I'm going to put 2 of these in. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stir it. Make sure it's all mixed in. I'm going to put the lid back on and then let it basically wait for it to come to a boil before I add the barley. All right, now that the water has started to boil again, I am ready to add the pakota, or the barley. It's really important to note that you have to make sure to have it sit in water in a container, and the water should be above the actual barley for at least an hour. And this is critical because it does take a long time to cook, especially with the way I'm cooking it, the method that I'm using. So as you can see here, it's been sitting in water for a little over an hour. So now I'm ready to add this to my pot. I'm going to use the strainer and just strain it. Now, I did rinse it really well prior to this because you want to get all the starch out. Otherwise, it can really taste starchy. So, you can see I've strained it. And now that the water is boiling, I'm ready to just throw that into the pot as well. Got that all in there. I'm going to mix it well. You want to make sure you have, again, enough water in there. You can add another carton of the beef broth if you'd like, but you can also add hot boiling water if you prefer as well. So 2 options there for that. So now I'm going to, again, put this back on high, and I'm going to wait for this to boil. I'm going to let it boil for a good 30 minutes with the barley in it, and then I'm going to move it to the actual oven to slow cook overnight. So the pot has boiled now for a good 30 minutes after I drained the barley and put it in the pot. It's boiled, so now I'm going to take the pot and actually slow cook it in the oven overnight. I've set the temperature at 200 degrees. You can also set it at 180, that works as well. I like the 200 temperature. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take my pot, and I'm going to put it inside. And this is going to act like a slow cooker overnight. And at 5 a.m. I'm going to pull it out and we'll be ready to eat. So I took the pot out of the oven, and just a reminder that it has been kind of slow cooking in the oven overnight. I put the pot in the oven at about 9 p.m. last night, or even 8 p.m. You can do it a little earlier. And I put it at the temperature I have it set on is about 180 to 200 degrees. Last night it was at 200 degrees. So it is slow cooking overnight. I got up at about 5 a.m. to check on it. So what happens is you can see now that it's fully cooked. And what I like to do is take those big chunks of the beautiful beef that we've put in. You can see the big chunk there. And I kind of put it or rub it up against the pot and kind of smash it to shred the beef, so that you're not eating chunks of beef, but you're eating shredded or parts of beef. And then you are getting a delicious bite of the beef and the barley in every spoonful. So it looks like this. So I've taken it out of the oven and I've given it a really good mix, and my family and I are ready to eat it. They're going to be here soon. But usually we're such a big family, and when I host this, usually on Sundays during the winter or colder days, I just leave it on the burner at a very, very low temperature. And I put lots of bowls here in this beautiful ladle. And so what I do is, whoever's ready to eat, they can just basically serve themselves. So it kind of looks like this. So I put a bowl in, a little bit more because it's so good. You have the option, my family loves squeezing some lemon into it. It just gives it a little more lemony flavor. We love everything lemon, so it really adds and enhances the flavor as well. If you like lemon, you can also put a little bit of cumin. Some people love adding the cumin on top as well. We also sometimes will take Iraqi bread and just dip it in and eat that as well, and it's really delicious. I hope you enjoyed this segment. It's been fun making it.